Hi everybody, I'm up here at the Forest Service road that leads into my pasture to talk to you about a question that's been coming up on the YouTube channel a lot the last couple weeks. It's a video we don't want to make and we don't want to have to tell you, but we have opened our private lives up to the world, so now we have to be honest with them even in the darkest of times. And we have another one of those circumstances. As a matter of fact, just to be really open with you and clear with you, just about everything in the last month has been part of the darkest of times. You know, get a lot of pushback on our faith, but we believe in all things spiritual and in the Bible and in Jesus. And with that, there's an enemy, and we believe in some spiritual warfare that has been taking place. We've shared with you about Emery's father and the trouble we're going through there. We have health concerns on my side of the family, and Isaac's surgery. And you all know about baby Rue. Well, tragedy has struck again. The other day, it was the first week in July. It was the same week we found out about Emery's father's illness and started taking care of him and spending a lot of time with him. And we had noticed, we didn't see Sioux when we saw the herd. So we got some free time and went looking for her and found her remains. She had passed away, and we started postulating why or what had happened. And I brought you up here to show you our leading theory on what happened to her. This county road right here has 100-yard, it's not a county road, it's a Forest Service road. There's no houses on it. It's a dead-end road just to access the forest. Anyway, it has a 100-yard straight shot at the dead end here. And people come and they throw out trash and targets to shoot at. And we've posted multiple times that this is not a safe place to shoot, because if you see this into this opening right there where that tree is, right here, that's our fence line. It's about 75 yards, and there's just a few saplings here. And then if you look down this path, this goes into Green Gate right there around that curve. I'll take you down there and show you. So, and you can actually, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but you can see the grass through the field right in here. So our field corner, my property corner, goes there. Our house is right there, and that ridge field is in between it. And you're on top of a hill right here at the very highest point. So everywhere beyond this, the bullets can go into our field. And you see, like right here is where I had the last sign, explaining this. And they shot the sign up so much that the sign is down and the post is shot in half. That one was shot off. You can see they've been hanging stuff on, standing that mattress up and hanging targets on it and shooting. There's shells all over the ground. And the week that we noticed her missing, there was somebody up here shooting a bunch. And typically I call 911 when they're shooting up here and have a sheriff's deputy come up and explain gun safety to them. Because not only is our house 300 yards that way, but our fields are 75 yards this way. There's ATV trails, horse riding trails, there's deer stands. Of course, it's not hunting season right now, but you're on top of a hill and they have no way of knowing what's beyond their target. In their defense, driving down this road feels like you're in the middle of nowhere. You don't see a house for 6 miles probably. And they think, oh, it's gotta be safe. We're in the middle of nowhere. What they don't know is the road dead ends here because it goes to private property after this. And before I cleared that field and built a house there wasn't anything to be dangerous there. So people have been shooting here for 30 years or longer, thinking this is a safe place to shoot. But even beyond my fence row, right when the hill falls off, there's the interstate and a town on the other side of the interstate that is probably 3/4 of a mile away. So a deer rifle could still reach that, long story short, for gun safety, you should always go to the bottom of a hill and shoot into a bank or a hillside where you know what's beyond your target. It's the first rule of gun safety. People think the first rule of gun safety is knowing where your safety is. It's not. It's knowing what's beyond your target, because you should just always treat a gun like the safety is off anyway. So that's our leading theory. And the reason I think that she was shot was we heard all the shooting that week that we noticed that she was missing. And then we found, where I found her was right off of this hillside. There's a pond, and she was down at the edge of that pond. And any hunter knows that a wounded, like a poorly placed shot on big game, where does the game go? They go to water. So that's just one theory. Now, there was also a lot of storms that week, and sometimes ponds get struck by lightning. She could have had that. We have video of her about 2 days before she died. She's perfectly healthy. She was fat. We had just vaccinized her again because she was due in 3 months. I'm certain it didn't have anything to do with the pregnancy. There was probably 100 vultures that had found her remains before I did, so there wasn't enough of her left to do an endocropsy on with the vet. But to rule out some of the other possibilities, I had 2 different botanists come out. A botanist is a scientist that studies plant life. We surveyed the whole pastures, and we found 0 cherry trees, which was the #1 culprit of poisoning that we suspected. We found 1 nightshade plant, and it says that it would take 10 pounds to kill a horse, and there wasn't even a bite off of the 1 plant we found. There are other plants like Johnson grass need a drought to become toxic, and there just wasn't the quantity of toxic plants and no evidence of any toxic plants being eaten. We don't think it was poisoning. It's just, like I say, I really chalk it up to spiritual warfare. I've got problems with my job right now. I'm really leaning towards quitting my job and going to this horse farming and YouTubing full time, so I can do a even better job than what we try to do already. And a lot of that decision rested on Sioux and this new baby that we knew would be driving the channel this year, and this is just a big hit to those plans and makes me scared to do that. So I don't know, it's just unbelievably hard. We took 3 weeks before we told you, because we were losing a lot of sleep about this. We were crying about it. We wanted to mourn ourselves before we told you. We didn't know. We hate sharing bad news on the channel because there's so many haters out there that will blame us and just run us down and try to hurt the channel whenever anything wrong happens, because this has happened before now. And when you own 25 horses, things are going to happen on occasion, no matter how much you try. A lot of the horse people in this world have horses as pets. We have horses as livestock. We love them, but they're kept in a 100-acre pasture with 75 or 80 acres of that being woods, and they can live a big open free life. We do love them, and each one of them is a pet in some regard, but we keep them on a farm, in a farm setting, not in a fancy stable setting, and things happen. I had horses my entire life like this, and before we started the channel, I'd only ever lost 1 foal to fescue toxicity. That was the only death I ever had. Since we started the channel, we've lost 5. 1 to colic, 2 to old age, 27 and 25, which wasn't bad. That was Image and Breezy. Lost the little pony to colic, and then we lost this baby to, we don't know what, maybe getting kicked when the mother was breeding back, or maybe to poisoning because of the foam that was coming out of its mouth. And now this one, potentially our best guess is to a stray bullet. I'll take you down this path now and show you how close the bullets are, and tell you a few anecdotal stories about close calls we've had with these bullets before. Okay, so here's one edge of our field, and you can see the fence line. We turn back towards the road, goes right along this way. So there's the fence right there. And here's this right there. There's the mattress that we were just standing at. So both regards, and our house would be right there. So there, the whole shooting range is the width of our field. Okay, I wanted to show you a couple anecdotal stories of why I know and how bad the bullets can be here. Right where the machine is sitting, there used to be a dozer pile. If you go back in my old videos, you can see them before I cleaned them up. And the gate is right there at the end of the field. So you've seen the one path that comes out and runs along this way, and it spreads over the whole field. The house is down in this valley. Anyway, they were shooting one day. I was up here working when the shooting began. I was already up here on foot, and I forget what I was working on. Might have just been picking up arrowheads, I don't know. But anyway, the shooting started, and I was hearing bullets zing over top of me. So I ran and I got down low and hid behind this dozer pile, and I called 911. And I called a friend that lives out that direction. And while I was sitting here under the dozer pile, I even heard on like some of them dead trees, I heard bullets hit and go ting, like hit real loud. So I was pegged down here and heard bullets go both directions over my head, like a zing sound. And then, like I said, I heard one hit the tree. My friend actually got there before 911 and stopped the people and told them that I was pegged down back here. Then another story right here on this ridge that runs this way. There was a deer stand, and I was letting some friends hunt there, and shooting started. And they actually came out and went straight into the bullets to stop the people, saying that they had been hearing bullets zing over their heads. And I've always called 911. I've hung up signs after signs. Every time you hang signs, somebody just tears them down. There was one repeat offender that kept coming, no matter how many times I went up there. A lot of times I would go up there and stop them without calling 911, but I would take the road around, which is a 20-mile circle, and get there and tell him why it wasn't safe, and he would argue with me that he doesn't miss his targets and that his bullets don't ricochet. I eventually even got a restraining order on that guy to make him stop coming up here, and the sheriff agreed with me that it was unsafe. And he was shooting one time when Isaac had a story. Let's let Isaac tell you what happened to him. Go.
Hey, so it was like, I was probably 7, so how long ago would that be?
It was in, 7 years ago.
Yeah. So
6 years ago.
We had this, like a porch swing, and me and my mom were sitting in it, and we were in our backyard. Our house is right down there, like my dad said. And, we were sitting, and there's a bike off to the left of us leaned up against an old tree we had, and a bullet hit the bike tire, and the bike tire exploded.
Yeah.
Exploded and shit, rocks and stuff everywhere.
Yeah, so that would have been a shot coming from right there down into the yard down there. So that's why we think that was the number one thing. And then the horse was found down in the pond right off of this hill. So that's why we think that was the number one culprit. Like I said, we don't know for sure, and we never will know for sure. There wasn't enough of her left to do an endocropsy. None of the other horses are sick. She wasn't sick. She was actually doing great. She looked really, really good and really happy. So, like I say, it's just hard. It's one of those things. As many things as we're facing right now, it's almost like we're numbed because of how much we're having to fight against right now. But just pray for us and try to understand, and we'll just keep going on. That's all we can do. we'll make another video real soon about our plans with Oliver and how to recover from the loss of Sioux and the little baby that was to be. And thank you, and sorry to have to bring you this news, but hopefully you'll understand, and better days are coming.
So we're going to share the last little clips and videos we got of Sioux just a few days before we found her. So if you don't want to see them, that's totally fine. Just go ahead and click off. I just wanted to give you a heads up before showing them. I feel like I'm supposed to say something to you guys through this, but it's hard to find the words to know what to say. Sioux was looking amazing. Her baby was growing. She was pretty much right on track with her pregnancy last time with how she was looking. This was just a few days before, like I said a minute ago, and it was a beautiful evening. The temperature was nice and cool. There was a beautiful sunset, so I grabbed my cameras and ran out to the pasture to get some footage focusing on Sioux, wanting to get some good photos of her and videos for an upcoming pregnancy update video. We were about to bring her into the barn, just like we do with all our mares when they come, are nearing the end of their pregnancy. Never ever thinking it would be the last time. I'm especially glad that I got this little clip of Sioux and Classy because they have always been so buddy, just kind of best friends. No matter where they were out in the pasture, you could always find these two together. We are definitely gonna miss our Sioux and getting to meet Oliver's first little foal. She's always kind of been our splash of color out in the herd. The herd doesn't look quite as vibrant without her. This is a hard one. It's hard to understand. There's not really any understanding in it. It's just going through it and being able to allow yourself to process it. I know I've said a lot of times this past year not to give up hope. So I guess that's something that we're going to have to put into practice. Not give up hope and keep moving forward.